Hi and welcome to Wall Yin. So this is going to be the second part of Wall Yin. So if you missed the first one, you could always go back and find the first one. So with all your Wall Yins, it's lovely, it's rejuvenating, but there is some parts that are challenging. So we are going to need our bolster and some bricks. So we're going to start off with some of the things we did last week or the class before, just to add a little bit of good stretch or good stress to the body. So as always with Yin, you can use props, you don't have to use props depending on your body. So I like to use props because it aids me into feeling a little more comfortable, and then I can take away or I can add depending on you can almost call it temperature because of the sensation gauge that you're feeling. So with my type of yin that I like to do, I like to sit between a 4 and 5. So 10 being something where I'm going to be damaging or ripping something, 1 where I'm not feeling anything. So 4, 5, a really happy medium, sitting in between there is really good. You want to feel something, but you don't want to be thinking, oh my goodness, I'm doing some damage here. That is the main thing that we do not want. So let's get into it. Let's start. So we're going to start really nice and comfortable. We're going to take ourselves to the wall. You may not want your bolster now. You can always place it underneath you at any point, but bring yourself as close as you can to the wall and then almost cartwheel those legs up towards, and you can give yourself a little shimmy back, and the arms can either be underneath your head, out on the body. But this is our Viparita Karani waterfall, but you want to make yourself feel pretty comfortable here. I've been running today, so I almost need this to allow the back of the legs to have a little bit of comfort, stretch, letting gravity go the other way. So close down the eyes, take a moment to notice where your body is touching the floor. So it could be shoulders, back of the head, the hips. And if your hips are popping off because your hamstrings are a little tighter, place something underneath there. Beautiful time to connect to your breath. Lovely time to notice your inner rhythm, so the heart beating, the belly rising and falling with each breath. Becoming present to the sounds that surround you. Birds, traffic, wind, people in the house. And when it comes to starting meditation, it's wonderful to be aware of the present moment, what's going on, but not allowing it to be a distraction. All the way through our class today, I want you to be aware of your sensations, aware if you have drifted off or have you stayed present within your body. Gently bending your knees, bringing the soles of the feet together, letting the knees drop out. You can always support, you can always place your hands on your knees, or you can just stay as you are. Relax, breathe, settle. It's a lovely time to notice the inner thighs. Have you noticed if your back is rounded a little? Have you hunched? Is your neck nice and elongated? Remember, you can always have that slight little bit of openness using your hands to help you here. slowly close your legs, just stretch them up towards the ceiling, give them a little wiggle. So we're going to have a little bit of yang here. So bend your knees one more time and take them a little wider. And I'm going to take my arms out to shoulder length and I'm going to windscreen wipe. Now, I find this incredibly challenging without swaying my hips. So maybe bring the legs in a little bit more. And what you want is the internal, external rotation, but the windscreen wipe on to the wall. I find this challenging because my hips are obviously grounded to the floor and the actual movement in the hip socket is really limited without lifting a hip as such. Good. Now gently come back or maybe widen it a little. So not like butterfly, but it's more of our, like a squat or a goddess. You can of course turn the toes out, whatever feels comfortable here. And just close down your eyes. This is a lovely variation of frog. So frog, you can be lying on your belly and obviously doing this the other way around. So you get a really good stretch into those hips, inner thighs. I do feel this in toward my back as well. But the good thing is it's come away from the knees, so no pressure in your knees. And we'll be here just for a little longer. Invite the sensations in. Breathe. Couple more seconds here. Good. Gently walk your legs in and give them just a little ease. Maybe roll up and roll down using the wall here. It's a nice little bit of comfort, a little ease. Lovely. So stretching the legs up, cross your right ankle over the top of the left thigh, open out the knee. Options to stay here or slightly bend your left. So it's our figure four. Try and keep your hips on the ground and you can really help that leg out by supporting it here. You can use that elbow as a little stop so the knee doesn't just wing in and the hips jump out or pop off of the floor. Again, try and find some stillness, a little bit of time to breathe into your pose. Some say you can direct the breath into the area. I think just simply breathing in and out, filling the lungs, telling your body it's okay to feel what it is feeling. Remember, you want to be sitting in that 4 or 5, not ripping, popping, snapping. Never, never the intention. The intention is to open, cause a good stress on the bones and the tendons and your ligaments, of course. So it's a yoga for a little deeper. Try to soften, and if you need to let go of anything to allow that to happen, if you need to add anything to allow that to happen, do that. Lovely. Gently come away from it, stretch that leg out and give it a little moment. Second leg crosses over, bending into the knee, only if it feels good. Now this side is a lot tighter, so I'm going to have to lessen the bend in my right side and definitely support my knee. So as soon as it feels a little comfortable and you want to add a little more extra, change the shape, maybe add a bend. Good, and a lovely ease it out. Give it a moment. Bending your knees in, gently rolling to the side, and then we're going to bring ourselves up. So now we are going to stretch out our quad and our hip flexor, and this can be quite a challenge, okay? So you want to set yourself up by the wall, and I think it's quite useful to have a brick or a bolster. I'm going to use a brick in this instance because it's just to help my knee. If that is too much, we can use our bolster. So I'm going to bring my brick as close as I can, and you can have a thinner one, you can have a blanket, you can have a cushion, you can have anything you want. And I'm going to have my bolster out in front of me actually. Okay, so getting into it can be quite challenging, but I'm going to draw my right knee and I'm going to place it onto the brick and move it in a bit more. Now, you might get here and you might think, oh my goodness, that is enough and I'm not doing any more. If you want, you can push yourself up to a lunge. Now, the further you go forward and down, of course you'll get into the quad. If you come up a little and you support yourself up, she says that she doesn't want to fall over, and I push in, not a big push, but I allow myself to be here. I get a really good stretch all the way through my quad. Now, if you want to get it into hip flexor, bring that pelvis underneath a little and then bring yourself up. This is one where you are really going to have to breathe. If it becomes too much and your knee is hurting, stop, come down and maybe be here. You can of course be here, and if you need even more support, use your bolster, support your head. This really does help an awful lot, and you're adding maybe a little bit of weight into that head. But this is a take on, as she says, wobbling, on like a lizard or a dragon. Again, feel what feels good for you. So even here, bringing it up a little bit more can add as that support too. And if your ankles need that stretch as well, this really works. Lovely. Slowly come down, step out of it. Oh. Give yourself a little bit of movement. Lovely. We're going to go second side. So again, this leg isn't as agile as the other. And like I said, having something underneath that knee helps. If that brick is not good, change it for a cushion, for a bolster. And hopefully I don't wobble on this side. Take your time and remember, adjust. If it's not feeling good, change it up. Don't sit and think, Kelly said, I've got to find stillness. I've got to find the uncomfortable. But the uncomfortable needs to be a good uncomfortable, if that makes any sense. It shouldn't be one where you're thinking something's going to pop here, something's going to rip here, or oh my goodness, that's going to hurt later. You want a good stretch, you want a good stress, never a bad pain. And you need to understand what that is within your body, okay? Remember, this can be done, however, giving you a lot of options. And if you're thinking none of that works, lie on your belly and just draw the heel in towards your bottom and reach for it. And that is perfect enough as well. Pretty lucky with this little corner where I do all my stretching and yoga. If I do a class for myself, normally I'll move the long side, but if I'm recording, it's better this way because you can see side on, and I can't catch myself with the side of these walls. Lovely. Let's bring it down and get yourself out of it however you can and give it a little shake. Now the next one is nice and awkward, as always. Okay, so I'm going to move myself around and you can place your bolster here to catch your head. And moving yourself as close as you can. And the idea of just sort of hanging. That's why I brought my bolster up a little bit more, but I'm shifting my weight forwards. So you can be here. I have seen some, she says, into the wall. That's not for me today. I can feel a lot of tension. So like a rag doll, soften your knees, shift your weight. And if it feels good, hang here. I'm not going to spend too much hanging upside down just because of all the blood coming towards my face, my eyes. I've got a little bit of a cold, so it can add to my congestion. But it's the idea of the back of the legs having a little bit of a stretch. So what I'm trying to teach you with these wall yins is something different. Instead of the traditional yins that you normally have, I want to show you a couple of minutes just at the wall. Can really add. Good. Gently release. Walk it back. Bend your knees. Slide that bolster in between your legs. You can place a brick underneath and just take your head into one direction. Just give yourself a moment resting here. Closing your eyes. Perfect. Lift your head up and over to the other side. So we're going to add one more type of stretch to this for our necks, but just having this little bit of child's pose. Now remember, you do have your bolster and everything to lean on if you need to. Good. Slowly come up. Now, what you're going to do is bring your knees to one side and your hip to one side. You're going to twist your body and come on down. Now you can lay and have your head the same direction as those knees, or to add a little bit of twist, you can take your head the other way. And your body, you want to bring your shoulders as square as you can. So the head can be like this, but try and bring the shoulders square. And I hope that makes sense. Try and relax into the bolster or whatever it is you're using. You actually don't need to have a bolster. You can be lying on the floor like this. But what I do want you to do is try and relax. Feel heavy. What are you holding onto? For me, I was sort of holding my upper body, so I've got to try and relax it. Good. Slowly come on up. Lift your knees up and over to the other side. And if you had your head in the same direction as the knees the first way, please do that. Or square the body, come on down and have that little bit of a twist as you close down your eyes. Again, connecting to the breath, softening the body. Allow the breath to be that thing that allows you to relax, keeps you present. Good. Slowly come up. Keep twisting all the way around. And you have the option to lay on the bolster. Make sure there's not a big arch. I want you to find some comfort. You can knock your knees in, you can come out, you can come straight. I'm going to knock my legs in. I'm going to place my hands on my belly and I'm going to close down my eyes and allow myself to breathe. Big sighing breaths out. Perfect time to allow the practice that we've done to sink in. You to relax a little deeper. And I'm hoping that I'm showing you that you can do so much more with Yin, or postures that we do in Yin, but taking it to the wall instead, and how much the wall and the floor can be a beautiful prop. It can show you the way that maybe you sway the hips, or maybe you cheat a little. So you're more than welcome to stay here. More than welcome to bring yourself up and allow yourself just to hang forward. And of course, you're more than welcome to end it where you are. Or you can bring yourself back into your seat. Draw your hands to your heart centers. Thank you for letting me be your guide. Namaste.